Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, please start.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Jaya Radhama Tava Kunja Bihari Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. You can close the door. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna everybody. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, verse number 11. So I'll share the screen and then we can all recite together one verse. So let me share the screen. Vedavesh Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. I'll recite the verse and you can recite after me. Shashtamatre apadyatvam
षष्टमात्रेण पत्व्यात्वं
vrita prapto anusuyaya
वृताप्राप्तो
प्राप्तो अनुसूयया
anvikshikim alarkaya
अलर्काय
praladadibhya uchivan. Okay, we'll recite it only once since we have a very short time. Thank you. Translation. Vashala Prabhupada, the sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anusuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlad, and other Yadu, Hayaya, etc. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord incarnated himself as Dattatreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anusuya. The history of the birth of Dattatreya as an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in Brahmanda Purana in connection with the story of the devoted wife. It is said that Anusuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, prayed before Lord Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva as follows. My lords, if you are pleased with me and if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessings, then I pray that you combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the lords, and as Dattatreya, the Lord expounded the philosophy of spirit soul and especially instructed Alarka, Prahlad, Yadu, Hayaya, etc. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yatkripatama Bande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So again, thank you all for joining. So here we are reading the third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So before we get into the details of this verse, I'll just lay out the overall flow of Bhagavatam in this part. So what's happening is the first chapter is describing about the question by the sages in Naimisharanya. So we have already done it. In the second chapter, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam are described. Many famous verses, they are all laid out. And finally, towards the end, it says that an intelligent person will single-mindedly focus on the Supreme Lord and His incarnations. Because one of the questions that was asked was, what are different incarnations of the Lord that come? That was the last question of the 6 questions which the sages asked. So a question came up. So now most of the detail of Srimad Bhagavatam is about different incarnations of the Lord. So to answer that last question, this third chapter was spoken. So in the third chapter beginning, first they speak about the Purusha avatars, basically. The Karanadakshayi Vishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and Shirodakshayi Vishnu. They talk about that. And then slowly they started speaking about different incarnations. So this is the overall flow of how we got here to this part of Bhagavatam. And before again I get into this verse, so as we go through this, all these incarnations, at the end it says, Ete chamsa kalapumsam Krishna astu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Hridayanti Yoge Yoge. Says Ete cha amsa, all these are amsa kala, they are expansions or expansions of expansions. Krishna astu Bhagavan Swayam. He says Krishna is the original Bhagavan, original Lord. That's why it also says he is the avatari. He is the source of all the avatars. So this is the overall flow of the first 3 chapters. So here in this particular situation, we're talking about the 6th incarnation, which is Dattatreya. So here in this particular pastime, what happened was Atri and his wife Anusuya. So Anusuya was extremely chaste and devoted. So to test his chastity, the 3 lords, the qualitative lords, the Guna avatars, which is the Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, they wanted to test her chastity. So she's living with her husband in the ashram, and all 3 went as brahmacharis to beg for alms. So she offered the alms, but then they said that they want to be fed when she's naked. So this is a very strange request. So they wanted to test her chastity, whether she'll agree to that or not. But chastity also gives a lot of power. So Anusuya was extremely powerful also. So just by the power of her chastity, they turned all the 3 boys, the Brahmanas, into little babies, very small babies. And then after she fed them as they requested. So when that happened, the 3 lords, they were extremely happy with her and asked for a benediction. And then when they asked for the benediction, then this is the benediction she asked, which is what Prabhupada is saying in the purport. My lords, if you are pleased with me, and if you desire me to ask for you some kind of blessings, then I pray that you combine together to become my sons. So since she asked for that benediction, naturally she was granted because they were satisfied with her. So the the Supreme Lord was born as her son. Sometimes we see in Bhagavatam the devotees ask that I want someone like Supreme Lord as my son, but there's nobody like the Supreme Lord. So in that situation, the Lord himself has to come as the son. What is that verse which says, Na cha sama adhikasya drishyate parasya shakti vividhaiva suriyate? That particular verse is there, which says, Na cha sama adhikasya drishyate. There's nobody who's equal to him or anybody who is better than him. So the Supreme Lord himself came as our son, and that's how Lord Dattatreya was born. Lord Dattatreya, he has got 3 heads representing the 3 lords who came, and he expounded the philosophy of spirit soul, especially instructed to devotees for Alarka, Prahlad, Yadu, and Hayaya. So this is one incarnation of the Lord. Then the next incarnation, I'll go through this because we're supposed to cover 2 verses today. I'll just read this translation and purport. They are very small. The 7th incarnation was Yajna. So the 6th was Dattatreya, who was born out of the pastime I just described. Now the 7th one is Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of Swayambhu Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The administrative posts occupied by the demigods for maintaining the regulations of the material world are offered to the highly elevated pious living beings. When there is a scarcity of such pious living beings, the Lord incarnates himself as Brahma, Prajapati, Indra, etc. and takes up the charge. During the period of Swayambhu Manu, the present period is Vaivasvat Manu, there was no suitable living being who could occupy the post of Indra, the king of Indraloka, heaven planet. The Lord himself at that time became Indra. Assisted by his own sons like Yama and other demigods, Lord Yajna ruled the administration of the universal affairs. So this is what happened at that time. The Swayambhu Manu, there was a change of the demigods. I believe that happens at the end of every Manvantara, which is basically the 771 cycles. So when that happens, the switch needs to happen. The demigods, Indra is actually a post, it's not a person. Generally, people think that Brahma and Indra is actually a person. That is true. Ultimately, everybody is a person. But more than a person is actually a post, just like the post of president. Right now we say this particular is the president of the prime minister, but actually that's a post. But when we refer to that person, we are really talking about a person. Similarly, when we say Indra, we talk about the current Indra, but actually that's a post. It's person later, post first. So here, when they were switching from one Indra to the other, they could not find anybody who was qualified enough to lead that position. And in that situation, the Supreme Lord himself comes, because the business of the universe has to go on. So to make sure that continues smoothly, sometimes Lord himself comes. In this situation, he came as Yajna. He was the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. And then he had sons, particularly his son Yama was helpful, and that's how he carried out the business of this universe. So these are the 2 verses which briefly describes these 2 incarnations. So question comes, what's the use of learning about the Supreme Lord? See, there are many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam which describe the benefit of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, there's a verse, Nashta prayeshu vadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Abhadra is something which is unpleasant, unwanted, or not required. You can also say it's anartha, abhadra. Okay. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Prayeshu means almost. And abhadreshu, like I said, is unwanted things. Nashta is destroyed. So by regularly reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the unwanted things are almost destroyed. How? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. By regular recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Bhakti becomes Neshtiki. That means it becomes fixed. So, just by doing bhakti, actually a person can become free from unwanted things. This thing is actually extremely useful. I mean, we cannot fully understand the use or the benefit till we experience it. We go through so much tribulations, so many difficulties, so many habits, so many things in our mind which are bothering us. It's just everybody goes through a lot in this material world. Just by growing up and then going through all the things, we go through a lot. Everybody goes through it because that's the nature of the world. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dukkhalam Ashashvatam, that this place is basically a place of suffering. So everybody naturally goes through that suffering. So part of the suffering is our own mind, that our mind has got so many things that are going on which constantly keep poking us, and we suffer because of that. So here it says that by regularly reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you actually become free from those. And when a person becomes free, then actually they can live a peaceful life. There's another verse. See, when Prabhupada talks about Srimad Bhagavatam, there's another verse which Prabhupada uses a lot. I'll just briefly describe that verse, and then after that we'll open for question and answers. So that particular verse is Tasyeva heto prayateta kovido natad labhyate brahmatam upariyada yan labhyate dukkhavat anyata sukham kalena sarvatra gavira ramhasa. That particular verse is described in the 5th chapter of 1st canto. That particular verse says that an intelligent person, this is related to why we are reading these incarnations, it actually uses a kind of negative way of telling how and why bhakti should be performed. So it says, Tasyeva heto prayateta kovido. Prayateta is prayatna, to make an effort. Kovido is someone who's intelligent. Hetu is a cause or a reason. So basically, an intelligent person makes an effort for something. That's the first line. Na tat labhyate brahmatam upariyadha. That which is something which cannot be obtained by going up or down. Okay? Tal labhyate dukkhavat anyatra sukham kalena. Because the happiness is obtained exactly the same way distress is obtained in due course of time. Tan labhyate dukkha anyata sukham kalena sarvatra, everywhere, kabhira ramasa, by the subtle laws of nature. So there it describes that an intelligent person will make an effort for something which cannot be obtained by going up or down. What does up or down means? Bhagavad Gita explains, A Brahma Bhumana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna, that a living entity, through their pious or impious activities, they are either going up or they are going down. In some cases, they may be born in the same planet. But regardless of how up or down they go, they eventually have to come down and come up. It's never permanent. So, this particular verse says that a person who is intelligent makes an effort for something which cannot be obtained by going up or down. That means it is something beyond this material world. And who's beyond this material world? Is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So when we read about these pastimes, we're not dealing with something which is limited to this material world, but actually it's beyond. Why? Because our goal is to go back eventually to the place where we do not have to come back. That's the purpose of this reading Srimad Bhagavatam. There's another verse which describes that Utpattate Pumsam Shoko Moho Bhayapaha. That particular verse in Bhagavatam is there, which describes that Yasyam Vesruyamanam. That particular verse describes Yasyam Vesruyamanam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpaddate Pumsam Shoko Moho Bhayapaha. That by hearing about Krishna, Yasyam Vesruyamanam, by hearing about Krishna, Krishna Parama Purushe, by hearing about Krishna, who is the Supreme Purusha, the Supreme Enjoyer, Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam, the living entities, they actually develop bhakti for him. And what's the end result? Shoka Moho Bhaya Apaha. A person becomes free from Shoka, Moha, and Bhaya. Shoka is generally we experience from the past because something happened in the
Turn off the living room light.
Moho is something we experience in the present, which is illusion, and Bhaya is usually of the things in the coming in the future. Fear of old age, fear of death, fear of losing something, just fear of disease, many fears we deal with. So by hearing about Krishna, a person becomes free from problems from the past, in present, and in future. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, from all angles, from all points of view, it tells us that just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly in any form, we slowly become free from our unwanted things. And that is something we cannot take it out on our own. It will not work because we try, it becomes more sticky, it becomes more difficult. But Srimad Bhagavatam, even though it may seem like a religious book, it may seem like full of shlokas we don't understand. So initially it might be, it may not be very logical to say, oh, how come just by reading a book I become free? People give life coaching and all kinds of motivational speaking and this and that. That is okay. But the real motivation speaking or real life-changing situation will come. It comes gradually. Where it will come? By just practicing devotional service. And the practice of devotional service, Krishna Bhakti, is described primarily in Srimad Bhagavatam. So just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, we become free, and most of Srimad Bhagavatam is describing about the incarnations of the Supreme Lord. And in this particular chapter, we are reading all these incarnations, and I just covered 2 of those. So in essence, I've described these 2 chapters, the summary of the entire chapter, the conclusion of the chapter, how we got here, and what are the benefits of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So I've covered a lot at this point. We have 5 minutes. If there are any questions or answers, we can address those at this point. Is there any questions about what we spoke so far?
No, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And Pranam Prabhuji, it was a great session. And I have a question like Yajna and Dattatreya. These 2 avatar are Lila avatar or they are coming under any other types of avatar?
So there is Guna avatar, Lila avatar, Purusha avatar, Manvantara avatar. So these particular, from what I understand, they are Lila avatar. And no, actually this one can be qualified as a Manvantara avatar because they came in the period of a particular Manu. Sometimes you can say that they are both also because they are also performing the Leela. Because Krishna, whenever he comes, he performs the Leela also. We can say they're both also. But this, the first one, we can say that he's Leela Avatar because he came for the Leela. What is the Leela? That the Supreme Lord wants to test the chastity of Anusuya. This is not a Manvana Avatar, this is not a Guna Avatar, this is not a Purusha Avatar. So we can understand that he come for the Leela. That's the first one. And the second one, Yajna, because he came for the change of change of Manu. So we can say partially that they came as Manvantara Avatar. We can also say that they came as Leela Avatar because they also perform Leela. So sometimes Krishna has a primary and a secondary reason for appearance. Like for example, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya. There are primary reasons and there are secondary reasons. So the reasons also can overlap. Does that make sense?
Very clear, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one next question. Like this avatar, all this avatar what we are discussing now in chapter 3, it comes in the one day of Brahma, if my understanding is correct, Prabhuji. And
It comes from what?
one day of Brahma. One day of Lord Brahma?
Not necessarily. I think they are describing the entire history of the universe. For example, this particular avatar came at the time of Swayambhu Manu, correct?
Correct.
Prabhupada is explaining currently we are living in Vaivasvata Manu. And also in the end, it will describe Krishna and Balram, which came about 5,000 years ago. So we are definitely not in the first day of Brahma, but Swayambhu Manu came in the first day of Brahma. Actually, Brahma, from what I've read, half of his life is almost over, 50 years, which is actually many yoga cycles, many days of Brahma. So these are basically describing the primary incarnations of the Supreme Lord throughout the duration of the universe, not necessarily a day of Brahma, because we see all these incarnations at different times.
Mr. Prabhuji. Okay. So, but these, let's say, what this 24 or 22 Gunavatar, which is explained in third chapter, that repeats, Prabhuji, again in the next cycle, whatever time period maybe Lord Brahma's it comes. So, in the second cycle or iteration, Yajna again appears like during that time, if or during that time maybe some other incarnation comes, little bit lights if you can put on that angle.
Sure, Prabhu, very good question. So Prabhupada explains this very nicely. He says Krishna is just like sun. Somewhere he's appearing, somewhere he's in the middle, somewhere he's setting. So Krishna is taking incarnations all the time, all these places. It's just happening in different time from our perspective. So yes, these incarnations come multiple times depending on the situation. So in this particular universe, it says that Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma, and he usually comes in the 28th cycle of our Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. Other yugas also he comes, but he does not come as Swayam Bhagavan. So these things are described other places I've read from Prabhupada's purports. So they do come multiple times, but Krishna comes in one day of Brahma. And these incarnations, like here Prabhupada explains that whenever there's not a suitable person to take on a post, then Lord will take that position and come. So Yajna can come once or multiple times. That incarnation or any incarnation of the Lord, these are actually permanent positions, permanent forms. Like for example, Narsinghadev. Our Puranas describes that Narsinghadev coming from the pillar is one incarnation, but there are other incarnations where he does not come from pillar. our Guru Maharaj Jayapataka Maharaj, he was describing in one incarnation, Lord Nrsimhadev walked in a stadium, and then that's where the fight happened. He was describing many years ago in a class. So same Lord Nrsimhadev, but he came in a different form, like from a different place he appeared. So these forms of the Lord, they are permanent, and they will come and go based on the need of the situation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll conclude here. It's 7:01. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Nanda Kumar Prabhu. Let's thank Nanda Kumar Prabhu by chanting 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So we are nearing by Bhadra Purnima, September 7th. So I'm encouraging everyone, whoever doesn't have Srimad Bhagavatam, it's the right time to invite Srimad Bhagavatam to your home. So we will come and install the Srimad Bhagavatam at your home, do a small puja, and then a small discourse, and then kirtan. It will be an enlightening program for all family members. You can invite your friends, families for that program as well. Not only giving the set, we are giving opportunity to read it every day through this Nityam Bhagavad Sevya program. So I encourage whoever doesn't have a Srimad Bhagavatam, please invite to your home. If you want to take a Srimad Bhagavatam set, please let me know or let us know, one of us will help you to bring the Srimad Bhagavatam set to your home. Tomorrow we'll have a regular Bhagavatam class at 6:30 a.m. This Sunday we have Glories of Srimad Bhagavatam on the occasion of Bhadra Purnima. Don't miss the class, and it is very powerful class. So with that, those are the announcements for today. Let's offer our prayers to Nrsimha Bhagavan to give a complete protection for our congregation and as well as entire world. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Badram Muchar Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Badram Muchar Ugram Veeram Mahavishnam Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Bhishanam Badram Muchar Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai. Let's offer our obeisances to all assembled Vaishnavas who gave wonderful opportunity to read this Srimad Bhagavatam today. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Let's chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra and wind up the class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. भगवान श्री कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय. अमल पुराणम श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरे हरि बोल. हरे कृष्ण. I'll see you all tomorrow morning 6:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.